Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about the quad slice operator in creative flow and also in random flow. So in creative flow, in edit mode, you can find it in the main menu, and in random flow you can find it in the mesh submenu. So remember that this only appears in edit mode. Okay, so quad slice operator is used for quantifying ingun faces. So if you've seen some of my timeless videos and also in my YouTube long format videos, I use it to quantify cutouts made from the draw function in Creative Flow. So for example, in this simple plane, we're going to draw a shape. So the resulting shape will be an ingun. So to quickly codify this, I can just select an ingun face and then quad slice and either use tangent or view for the direction. So you can see that the resulting face is diagonal. You can change the tangent to modify its direction. So the tangent basically means the direction of all the edges that are selected from the faces. So they are stored here and you can cycle through them. So you can select the direction that you want. So for example, this one, or you can directly face the selected polygon or face and use the view direction. So looking at it this way, if you click the view again, you can of course change the direction of the cut lines. So that's the view. And when you look at it directly, if the tangent doesn't put out the straight lines that you're looking for, you can just look at the face directly and use the view direction. You can source the origins from the verts or the edges, meaning that the cuts will be generated from the vertices or the edges. So this is the edge and this is the vertices. So for the geometry, that's going to be later. So later on in the video when we use it for a whole mesh, not a flat plane. Okay, so I can still modify the limit property. So this is none and this is x. So the cuts will only generate towards the x-axis and this is the y. So from the face, this is the orthographic. No, that's not the two-dimensional direction of the face, which is why this is only the xy axis and there's no z involved. And we can also rotate that, or the resulting cut, we can also rotate it. And here the distance is kind of like merge. So it merges the vertices or edges together. So the connections become less busy, but ultimately if you use higher value, the lines will become distorted. So something like 0.01 for this. Depends on the size of the object and the distance of the verts together. So it becomes a lot cleaner than using the default, which is 0.0001. And this line is coming from here, and this other line here is coming from this vert. So if we use 0.01, so this line coming from this vert will merge to this vert here, but it looks like a straight line, but it's not. The two lines from before were just merged together. So this is a great way to of making the tight areas, generating so many lines to make them less busy. Use tag verts, so that's for later. And shortcuts, that's also for later. So this one, we can also modify this further if you want. So for this, since this operator exists solely for the purpose of quantifying these ingon faces, because the random operators on that deals with topology only works with quads or tries and not ingons. It doesn't work for ingons because the ingons cannot be subdivided. But with this kind, and because the randomization is dependent on the topology or the direction of the topology, something like this, some patterns can be created with this direction. So if you see, if we use random panels and increase the resolution and cycle through the patterns using the panel seed, you can see the direction of the phase loop being generated in the randomized pattern. Okay, so that's the triangle faces. So if you have time, we can also qualify this by doing something like this and deleting this, or maybe just this first, then dissolve verts and the rest. So this becomes a quad. F9, do not dissolve vert, and then delete the rest. Okay, so some topology cannot be helped, but so for this one, we can also get that. Okay, and this one here, okay, so something like this triangle here, you can quantify it by just connecting an edge like that. You can see that it's now a four edge face with meaning a quad. And that ultimately can improve its reaction to the pattern or the resulting pattern. Okay, so and also with mostly quads, you can add edge loops much easier. So the edge loops can only be added using quads, and this functionality cannot operate on ingons. So for example, if it's an ingon, and if you use the edge loop cut, then the loop cut and slide, then it will not generate any edges on this ingon face here. Okay, let's use gonna create a bunch of ingon faces for this one. So draw faces. I'm gonna create a separate video for the X draw function in Creative Flow. Oops. So this is really good for angular faces because I can just play around with the shape using booleans and not worry about the topology. So for example, this one, we apply this. This creates a bunch of unions. So this is mostly symmetrical. We can just reapply the mirror X, Y, and Z and then work on this. Okay, so I wanted to show you this because this has different planar regions. Planar being they are on the same plane. The faces basically point towards the same direction. So for example, this face is here, points this way, and this faces points that way. and this points this way. Okay, so the quad slice operator and also the grid project as well. The quad slice operator works on a face selection or a selection of faces that share mostly the same planar direction. For example, if I select this one and this one, that is good. But if I select this one and this one, these set of faces have different planar directions. So the quad size operator will only extract a single um, a single face to create the direction, and then um, from that direction cut the lines, and then those lines will then be cut on those faces that share the same plane as the face that has as that where the direction was generated from. So for example, if I use this two here, you can see that it went well on this face, but it didn't generate the for example, the other direction for this. This should also generate this cut here, but it did not, because it only operated, the tangent we use only operated on this plane. And if we cycle through this, you can see that it went correctly here, but it didn't go so much for this face here. So when using the quad slice operator, only select faces that share the same planar direction or normal direction. So if I use it here, select the tangent, there we go. So I can then select this. If only to cut the selected faces, I can then select these faces here and select the right tangent for it, and then it's mostly qualified. Then I can work on the other faces that have different planar direction, like this one. Select these faces here, and then finally this one. Oh yeah. Since there's no other points that needed to be cut here, we can just select, oh, this needs to cut all the way through there, so let's select that. So this is mostly qualified. All you have to do is do some a little bit of editing and you're good to go. So for example, delete this. Okay. Delete this, so it becomes a quad. And for this one here, add an edge loop and delete this edge, and that becomes a quad as well. Same for this one. Delete this and this. Oops. And they're all mostly quads. Uh, the uh, the random operators can still work with triangles, but if you can make the topology mostly quads, and that's better for it. For the triangles, again, you can quantify this. If you can't remove it, you can quantify it by just adding this. This is kind of like the triangle, the diamond. This becomes a diamond if you like do this, but yeah, it's called a diamond face from that is from my study in like topology days. So yeah, you can make this quad by doing that. Okay, so again, those are the basic of how to use it. So select the faces that have the same planar direction, then use quad slice. Then with the solve, let's just repeat the action. And By default, this operates on selected faces that you can affect using geometry, but this also has linked and all faces. So for example, I just select this face here and quad slice tangent to direction and then operate the tangent to select the necessary direction. So this cuts only the selected face. We can use linked, meaning that all linked faces from the selected face will be cut, and also all faces. So this works if the, let's just qualify this. So for this geometry, which is a single set of faces, you got this linked and all faces can also work for this. And you can see it's much faster. And let's just add a few edge loop and modify and then randomize. Increase the depth or maybe not. It's going to show you something. Islands. I need this to be straight. Okay. It's just a bit complicated. Oh, okay. So for example, this one. So by default, this is another object, non-destructive operation, and each of these panel islands are separate sets of faces that are disconnected from the other islands. If we limit this of this, we have this ingun faces, but the shapes remain intact. If we want to qualify this using quad slice, you can see that with selected, only the selected face becomes qualified. If we use linked, only the faces that are connected to the selected face has been cut. So only the linked faces, not the rest of the other islands because they are separate. And you can see that some faces are not highlighted because the script only highlights the faces that have been cut after the operation. But if we use all faces, then those faces get cut as well from the points that are in the face island that the original selected face belongs to. Okay, and you can see here that this is not supposed to cut that way. Okay, so one slice. Again, it's in random flow. If you only have random flow, it's in one slice here in the mesh submenu. One slice, and then let's get the right tangent linked. So for this one, linked only. And if you use the default, which is I think 0.001, you can see the cut here and here because this vert is cutting in that direction and in this direction and in this direction and this direction and in this direction. So we can merge those edges and those verts using the distance. So we get this and this one. Okay, link. link, and also link. So for some areas of topology that the distance cannot fix, you can just manually clean it up. So it's faster this way because you don't have to do this every time, do the knife. And the knife is good. The knife in Blender is actually very functional and very good, especially now in 4.0 plus. But for some complicated setups or topology, the quad slice can work better. And also this one, let's pick the right tangent and maybe, there we go. I guess the distance can also fix it. There you go. Okay, so let's undo all that. Quad slice, let's see, 0.01. I'm going to show you the shared cuts toggle. The shared cuts toggle says that sets of selected or island faces can share cuts, meaning that if I select this and this, what's this tangent? Oh, wait. Here we go. It works for selected only. I don't know why the cut is not doing its work. Anyway, we can use the view. Okay, it means that the selected faces can share cuts together. And as you can see here, each face only cuts itself, but with shared cuts, the cuts between the two faces, basically, there we go. So the points from each of the selected face can now be shared globally. You can see that it's only cutting itself, and this point here should cut there, but it's not. But with shared cuts, you can do it. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to use the tag verts. So for tag verts, let's undo the limit to solve. So for example, this one here, and we select that all the vertices are actually cutting away at the selected face. So this vert here, this vert here, this vert here, cutting on the XY axis. But if you want to limit it only in a particular set of verts or a vert, then you can use the so for example this vert and this vert, or I want the cuts to only originate from this vert here. I'm going to use the tag verts operator. It is also in random flow tag verts. So tag verts and then select the face or any faces and cut slice, and then I'm gonna choose that, use tag verts, and you can see that it only used this vert to cut the lines. So this is the line, and I can probably show you that better using the rotation. There you go. You can see that that's the only vert that's cutting the line. If you want to limit the cut only for that particular vert. So I think the vert select the vert assignment or the vert that is assigned for that remains after the operation. But every time you use the tag verts operator, the last um, the last verse that you have signed is going to be removed, and the new verse that you've selected will be the ones that is going to be used in the next operation. So it's very simple and easy to use. Okay, so let's do a simple exercise. Um, Cursor to world origin, and let's face the number three, which is I think number three is from the front will be the left, and control three is the right. Okay. Uh, Control three. So this is the front. This is the front. Yeah. I think this is, yeah, this is, three is right and control three is the left. And control three and plane view. Let's apply the rotation and also the scale. Going to mirror this in the Z axis and draw something on this side here. Um, let's get rid of the Y and the X axis for the mirror. So without mirror, you can see that the mirror axis will only display none. Like that. Next, we can quantify it. Vertex group not found. Do not use tag verts. Okay, so now we have this. We have this using 0.0.01. Let's see the default. So I remove this vert here or this edge here. 0.01 about 0.1. So that's too much. 0.05. So we need these edges to be straight because of the randomization. So probably the default one. And let's add more verts or edge loops. So we don't deal with a bunch of super long faces with the randomization. But this is the only annoying thing about the this delete edges. So what I do for this situation, just delete this first, and then this disable dissolve, and then delete the rest. Modify this, delete this. Oops. F9, disable dissolve verts. Add one here. So this can't be helped because this is needed. This edge is needed for this one here. But I think we can, yeah, we can do it like this. And this two here. Oops. Oh, it's already qualified. Okay, so they are mostly quads. And if you want to find out which, I think, Shift G, if there are any other tries or ingons in in your mesh, you can do this. Select the face, Shift G, polygon sides, Okay, so compare equal to these selected faces that you have here. The polygon sides equal greater and less. So greater than four sides will be ngons and less will be tries. So there's nothing left. And I think you can, where's the info bar? Mesh analysis? Nope. Okay. Where it is. It's supposed to count the vertices on this side here. Okay. So now we have all quads. Then I use draw modifier to add solidify. Put this to 0 and increase the solidification. Turn it into a real mesh using apply mesh. This also applies the mirror, so we can reestablish it using auto mirror. Click on the geometry that you want as the real geometry. In this case, this one here. And this points to the origin point of the object. You'll then use the X, it lights up or colors up when you, the axis colors up when you activate it, X, and then Z. We don't need Y because we don't need to mirror this to this. We got this. So now you're ready for randomization because you have all quads. Now, if you want to, this one here, do we really need this? I guess we can remove it. Okay, remove this first, and then what we have in guns here, probably not. Then we can use the randomization to randomize stuff. And 5, hit this to off. Okay, so everything's qualified and you're good to go for the randomization. If you want to edit it further, you can do that. But um, that's how you do it. So what if I use the knife? Well, if you use the knife, you're going to end up with the same result anyway. If you just if you use the knife, then you're going to end up with the same result. So better this way and just clean up. So with the knife, you're not going to, of course, do this because this edge here probably generated from this one, this vert. So with the knife, you can just stop here, then you can go for the other points, but it's gonna take you longer. And with quad slice, it's going to be faster because all you have to do is clean up the result. And with the quads, if you're feeling actually lazy to quad it using the same technique that I showed you, then you can just do this to quantify it, no problem. That way, okay? But using tries, you can also get away with using tries because with the subdivision will actually just quantify it. Actually, okay. I think I might have found a way to fix the subdivision. Yes. So that is quad slice. Quad slice, and just add a few stuff, and you're good. No, no, no. Facing this way, tangent. and all faces, because this is only a single mesh. Do that and adds a few more edge loop. You can clean up if you want, but you're good to go. Oh, if you have geometric spiking, just use oops. Just waiting for 2.3, Blender for 2.3 to pass the update to fix the redo panel bug. Just use even offset. Just use even offset off or cut method split or cut method wrap with 90 degrees. But you have to select, there we go, to play around with the global seed to get rid of the spiking. The spiking results from areas that generally have this. You have this transition here, here, and here. And also, it can also originate from this. Essentially, corner verts like this topology here. Okay, so let's do one more before we finish this video. So if you're just sketching for a background asset, you can quickly uh, draw a sketch using the draw function and create a flow, then solidify it, then quadify it using quad faces, quad slice, and drop some procedural shader in it on it, and then you're good to go for you're good to go for adding it to your concept art piece, where you can of course draw over it or composite it to increase its believability. Use random. There you go. You have a sort of rail cannon, and you can use for your project. After that, um, if you want to make this lighter, just limit the solve and triangulate. There you go. And it looks convincing too. Okay. So for the next videos, I'm going to discuss the redo panel, what you can do with it, the hotkeys you can use for modifying the properties, and also I'm going to discuss grid project and why it's also made, like how it's going to be used for, or what it's used for, like just like one slice. Okay, so if you have any questions, use the comment section or the links in the description. Hit subscribe and notify, and also like the video to help to show it to more people. Okay, so thank you for watching and have a nice day.